everyone, I'm Andrew Vogany, the Ideas Man here, live at ITC, thanks to our sponsor, Monitor. I'm here today with Henry Locke, the founder and CEO of Emailgistics. How's it going?
Excellent, how are you?
Doing good, thanks. It's been a busy couple days here at ITC, so let's wrap it up with a nice conversation today.
Sounds great.
Yeah. A lot going on. When you walk around here, everybody's talking about AI, they're talking about AI agents, they're talking about all this tech and insurance, but today we're talking about email. That sounds a little bit funny to me. Why are we still talking about email?
I know, why is email still around?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, insurance runs on email. There's documents that are being passed back and forth all the time.
Sure.
And that's happening through email because there's different parties involved. And in particular, that's being sort of centered on the shared mailbox experience.
So tell me a little bit about Emailgistics. What do you do to help facilitate that?
So what we find is almost every company is using Microsoft 365. They have a shared mailbox or many shared mailboxes usually,
Sure.
Claims at, renewals at, that type of thing. But they also have 10 or 20 people working in that box. And so chaos ensues very quickly because one inbox, 20 hands in a cookie jar, and next thing you know, nobody knows who's working on what, how, what's going on. So we basically tame that chaos by bringing structure, workflow capabilities, reporting capabilities. We just basically supercharge that shared mailbox.
So people are talking about chatbots, are talking about agents, are talking about, I text message with my airline now when I want to do something, I want to do things self-service, but why is email still so prevalent in insurance? I mean, I feel like we've been talking about getting off of that for ages, right? And it's still a thing.
Yeah, people I don't think they realize that email represents the best asynchronous way to communicate between parties.
Sure.
So the problem, I like chat, I like phone, they're all great, but it means I'm on it the whole time.
Right.
I don't need to do that for almost all the things that I do.
You want to send your question and let it go out.
I want to fire and forget until it comes back at me, kind of thing. You know what I mean? And that's why email stands the test of time, because that's how people want to interact. They want to maximize their productivity. Use email to do that.
Yeah. There's a lot of talk about the agent going away, the broker going away. I think we all agree that's not going to happen, right? I email my insurance agent a few times a year, right? And I think it's important. I mean, there's times where you're just like, okay, I go on ChatGPT, I could look up what I need to, but at the end of the day, I want that trusted person who I know is going to give me the right answer for my situation, right? Or help me make the changes that I need. I also like that it's documented too, right? I don't ever know where these chat transcriptions go or the text disappears, right? So at least as a consumer, I still feel like that email is comfortable for me.
It's driving accountability, which at the end of the day, both parties want that accountability, right? Because if I'm willing to do my part, I expect you to do your part. And if that's fully documented in the email chain, then you have that, right?
But now talk to me, so as a consumer, it's easy, right? I know my insurance agent, I know their name, I type it in my Gmail, I fire off the email, whatever. But I imagine if there's hundreds or at scale, maybe thousands of people doing that on any given time frame, that's got to be hard for the company to manage.
You might have an individual relationship with an agent, but that isn't how it works for most people.
Sure.
Most people are going through customer service policies whatever, all of those sorts, because there's just the volume's too high. I mean, you're talking about thousands of emails coming in a day. You can't have that kind of one-to-one relationship. And also agents are changing all the time, right? So we need a way to insulate with that, and that's what the shared mailbox represents, is the ability to insulate against that agent change, but still provide what is an elevated level of service to the customer, which is what you want to do.
I recognize if I have the relationship with you and I email you, it might not be you emailing me back, right? And that might be better because maybe you're off for 3 days hanging out in Vegas, right? So it still offers a better experience, I think. What about security? Obviously, data breaches, data leaks all the time, right? I get nervous if I'm sending, maybe personal or financial data through email. Maybe that's not always the case. You're doing more simple transactions, but how does the security play into that?
Well, it's key. And I mean, obviously, I think like most organizations that do what we do, you have to check all of those security boxes, which means SOC 2 compliance, HIPAA compliance, which we do. But our specific, I think, superpower here is we built a system that is layered directly into Microsoft 365.
Okay.
So your emails stay exactly where they are. They're in the shared mailbox already. We're layering all of our workflow capabilities, our reporting capabilities, alerts, all of it is layered directly within that 365 environment, which means you've already passed the security checkboxes. You know what I mean? Like it's where you want that email to stay, not take it off somewhere else.
Right. So how do you compare to a call center or a more agentic type situation?
Yeah. Well, so I mean, there's sort of two different parts to that. So on the call center side, I mean, we're a factor in that. I mean, call centers will often include telephony and chat and stuff like that. Sure. We're very much email focused. And so we're really catering to those departments. It's really almost a departmental level solution because you're talking about 20, 30 people working in a department.
Right.
That's not a call center. That's a department. You know what I mean? Call centers are 1,000 people kind of thing, right? We basically live with 30 agents at a time in this department, then we're that department, and that department, and that department. On the agentic side, now you're talking about how does AI layer into that, right? And for us, there's 2 steps to that. There's human in the middle, which is really, we think, where we're at right now, which is, so we have that, of course, AI suggested reply. And we've done that at what we think is sort of smarter AI, and it might be an oxymoron, but basically we're making sure that instead of just looking at the conversational history to allow the AI to derive the answer, we're allowing you to ground and train the AI with all of your documentation that you have. So you can upload all of the stuff that you train your agents on, you upload that into the AI system and then you ground that. And we did a lot of analysis on that and found that the answers that you get back are just night and day better.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah. And so that's sort of step 1. Step 2 is, well, we already have a rules engine to allow you to manipulate these emails as they come in and do things that you want to do, right? Well, let's have the AI automatically respond to that email. We haven't seen a lot of customers that want to go all the way to that level yet, but they're starting with this human in the middle because they want to evaluate the quality of the answers. They want to build up that training, that the RAG system.
In a year, I'm sure this will look totally different.
In a year, you're going to see a transition where they're going to start with the easy stuff and completely identify the stack, right? So we're there. We've got it all. We're just letting them guide the timeline for it. Basically.
Between those 2 things you just mentioned, there must be huge efficiency gains for the same team, if you compare before they were using a solution like this.
Yeah, I mean, 50% type. It's huge. It's very significant if you deploy it correctly, and you have to put the work in up front, right? You have to train it and all that kind of stuff, but you do that and it's huge gains for sure,
So we're sort of talking about, again, in the setting of AI I think people are kind of selling it like AI is going to replace all these other things. We're not reinventing the wheel. We're taking a method of communication, meeting people where they're at, how they want to communicate with you, when they want to communicate with you. We're just making it better.
Yeah.
So that's today. Where do you see it in the next few years?
Well, that's a good question because AI is moving at such a quick pace. It's we think we know where we're going.
It's hard
next,
to know, right?
But it's hard to know, But certainly you're going to see a continuation of that agentifying process, right? I don't think we know how long that's going to take. So I think we're not looking too much farther past that because we're not even there yet, And what is the role of the human in the middle at that point kind of thing, right? I mean, are we going to deal them out entirely? I don't think so at least not for quite a while. Maybe long term down the road, but I'll tell you, people like dealing with people and
I was just going to say, insurance is I think it's 2 things, right? It's a trust-based industry, and it's a people-based industry. And like I said earlier, I email my agent a few times a year. I have a question, I have a change, whatever it is, and I'm fully aware that over time, some of that's going to be automated, and it probably should be, right? It'll make my life easier as a consumer. But I want to know that there's a trusted person behind all of that. And that's why I think this type of stuff is so important.
And, we were talking about security before. That comes back into play a little bit because we tend to trust the other individual at the end. Like we feel like there's a rapport there, and as a person, we trust that. Well, now if you're dealing with AI, it's like, okay, do I have that same level of trust?
Right.
And I mean, when we had to create our AI tech stack, we opted to go with Microsoft's AI Azure Foundry, right? Because they really have the best guardrails in place from a security perspective. And the emails that we're processing on behalf of our customers are health insurance claims. You can't chance that. We can't. We have to protect that at all costs. So part of the down the road is that continuous evaguarding on the security side because we're already seeing hacks happen on AI platforms
on a week by week basis.
And that's exactly, so guardrailing and security is, I think, a big part of what we're going to be dealing with in the next 5 years, basically.
Absolutely. Any final thoughts?
No, that's great.
Cool. Love it.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, absolutely. Henry Locke, CEO and co-founder of Emailgistics. Pleasure to have you here at ITC Live.
Thank you very much.
And again, once again, thank you to our sponsor, Monitor, for bringing this experience to us.